Hello guys, Kyle from Adirondack Fish Junkies here again with another lure review. Today we're going to be talking about the Berkley Nessie. The Berkley Nessie is Berkley's attempt at a soft plastic glide bait. I think they realized that there was a huge niche in the market for glide baits and they wanted to come up with their own unique adaptation to fit that genre of baits. So I've used this one, which is the 7, and I also have a couple of the 9s, which are just a tad bit bigger. They're definitely a lot wider. So let's get into it, and we'll talk a little bit about the 4 metrics I always really try to speak about when I do these lure reviews. So one big thing to me that really sticks out right after get-go from the appearance, I'm not really a big fan of how they do these joints. I do like how it's an offset joint like that, but this stuff right here, I don't know how they do it. It looks extremely sketchy, like it wants to pull apart. If you guys can see that. Besides that, though, the paint jobs and the patterns that are on these are realistic. There's a slight gill pattern in the background. Starts off like a dark black up here where the lateral line would be, and it kind of fades out to a lighter scale pattern that's kind of in the background of this bait. The eyes on these, pretty decent. The hardware, extremely sharp, sticky hooks. It's probably the same hooks that they use on the cool shad. The harness and stuff looks like it's the same as well. It's also got that feather tail, just like the KGB Chad has, and there's a bunch of other baits that have the same type of tail. So, appearance-wise, nothing crazy. I'd give it 6, 6.5. It looks good, but it's nothing like out of this world. Durability, I've caught probably 20 fish with this bait so far, and I've had no problems. That seam is holding up well, hasn't ripped. I don't see any indication of it going to rip. Plastic's actually a really nice, pretty solid plastic, so even though I've caught, numerous massive fish on, there's not very many teeth marks, and I've caught a few pike on this as well. These plastic fins here, I'm guessing, are to help design in the gliding action, which we'll get into next. But durability, I give it an 8. It's, even though that seam looks like it's going to fall apart and it's sketchy, it doesn't. It's made very well. So action. So this bait is a little lighter. So if you are going to truly do a slow glide with it, depending how deep you're fishing, I recommend, if you're going to be fishing a little deeper, adding some nail weights to it. You can fish it right out of the box the way it is, but if you're going to be fishing a little deeper water and you don't want to wait forever for it to sink to the bottom, you want to keep it in that strike zone longer, I would definitely add some nail weights. The action's good. It has a nice glide. If you can really slow roll this thing, and it'll have a nice wide glide. If you burn it, it's a nice tight glide. It's like a swimming action. It's nice and tight. Where I've had the most success with this, though, honestly, is not just a straight retrieve. I've been using it like a jerk bait. I'll do a couple pops, and then I'll feed it a little bit of slack, and the bait almost wants to come around 360. Sorry, not 360, 180. I'm tired. And the bait wants to come around 180 when you give it some slack after a couple jerks, and jerkbait fishermen know that's a trick from a lot of professionals and people that have been fishing jerkbaits for a while. When you get that bait to spin around and look back at the fish, and it's kind of like an intimidation thing. and usually draws a lot of strikes. So action-wise, I mean, I can't complain. It does what it's supposed to do. I just wish it was maybe a tad bit heavier, but overall, action's good. I'll give it an 8. It's got the action of a glide bait like you want. Sorry, still got a cold. The last metric, as usual, is out of the box fishability. You can take this bait. The hardware is great. The hook hangers are good. It's durable. It swims like it should. There's no tuning involved. So, like I said, my only opinion would be if you want to get it down deeper, maybe add some pencil weights in there. But out of the box fishability, I'll give it an 8. It's designed to be taken out of the package and just thrown. I have no issues with this bait. Besides that weird seam, everything else is good. Overall, for a bait for this genre, the soft plastic glide bait, I'd rate it up there like a 7 or an 8 for sure. It's a good bait. I recommend it. It catches fish. I really like throwing that bigger one. It's got a lot of attention and a lot of draw to it, you know. But this one right here is a perfect size for just all around fishing. So yeah, the Berkley Nessie, definitely worth, I think it was like $10. I can't remember. It wasn't very much. But I would definitely buy more of these. They work great. So hopefully you guys get a chance to grab some. And hopefully you guys have good luck with them like I do. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned. I have a couple more lure reviews that I'm going to be putting up. So y'all have a good night. Peace.